My own view is that they need to get out of the business, and so many of these universities need to get out of the business of indoctrinating and go back to that pursuit of truth. And I predict this could be the beginning of a trend that we see in our country of private universities decoupling themselves from federal funding. Frankly, a lot of these universities have had a lot of mandates rammed down their throat by the Obama administration, by the Biden administration, in the era of Title IX. And so the fact of the matter is this issue of the federal government telling universities what to do or not to do is not some new issue. It's an issue that goes back as old as the mid-20th century, if not before, when our federal government was overspending its money anyway.
Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. The feud between Harvard and the Trump administration, it's continuing. Harvard President Alan Gerber said the school will not compromise on its rights during an interview with Lester Holt that aired last night. Have a look.
You're taking on the most powerful man in the world.
We are defending what I believe is one of the most important linchpins of the American economy and way of life. Our universities.
How much pain can Harvard absorb here?
We don't know how much we can actually absorb, but what we do know is that we cannot compromise on basic principles.
Okay, so from what I have heard about this huge dilemma going on with the government not wanting to fund Harvard University anymore until basically Harvard is allowing some students to protest and speak on other people's religions. And I know this is going on a bunch of different college campuses throughout the country. And the president's trying to stop people from preventing other students into going to class, into getting their education, and to stand outside in front of the school and protesting and speaking hatred and these things towards certain groups of people that are attending these universities. And I think that's the main point of why Trump is doing this. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's Trump's tactic on, hey, if you guys don't stop, I'm not gonna be funding you guys anymore. You guys need to put your students in check and say, hey, you guys can protest and do all that but not at the campus. Do it somewhere else. You guys are not allowing students that want to come in and have paid to be here and to try to get their education on. But yeah, that's my thing. Let's hear what Vivek has to say, because dude's a genius.
Meanwhile, according to a new report, Harvard's endowment, get this, it equates to roughly $7 million per student. Still, the school received over $500 million in federal funding, and that happens annually. But President Trump's war with Harvard received praise from the Anti-Defamation League, the CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt, saying, quote, "It's a good thing." Here with reaction, Ohio gubernatorial candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, thank you so much for joining us.
He's the future president, just to let you know.
I think what people really appreciated about you and your approach is it's very principled. So when you hear the Harvard president talk about we can't compromise because these are the things we stand for, there's a huge disconnect when I see that, because it begs the question, what is it that you really stand for?
Look, I speak as somebody who graduated from Harvard back in 2007. The university always leaned left. It leaned left when I was there. But back then it was an institution that at least cared about free speech and open debate, the pursuit of truth. Veritas is the school's slogan. And so now I think their embrace of free speech is really selective based on which cause they're espousing. My own view is that they need to get out of the business, and so many of these universities need to get out of the business of indoctrinating and go back to that pursuit of truth. And I predict this could be the beginning of a trend that we see in our country of private universities decoupling themselves from federal funding. Frankly, a lot of these universities have had a lot of mandates rammed down their throat by the Obama administration, by the Biden administration, in the era of Title IX. And so the fact of the matter is this issue of the federal government telling universities what to do or not to do is not some new issue. It's an issue that goes back as old as the mid-20th century, if not before, when our federal government was overspending its money anyway. We're in the middle of a national debt crisis. We need to cut down how much our federal government is spending. We need to return as much of that to the states and to the people anyway. So putting aside the spat of the day, this could be the beginning of a broader trend to say that institutions like Harvard have plenty of successful graduates who are able to fund the mission of the university if they find it aligned with their view of the world. Decouple yourself from the federal government. Hillsdale's done it. I visit there from time to time. I think other universities may choose and be wise to follow that trend in the future as well.
Well, what is the proper role of government? You know, we see billions and billions. I think most people are shocked at how many billions of dollars are going to these universities.
It's crazy.
So what's the proper role of government when it's a public institution versus maybe a private institution? Where are those lines?
Well, I believe the role of government needs to go back to its skeletal roots as our founding fathers envisioned it. Protect private property rights, provide for national defense and security, and on occasion, for the right kinds of projects, provide infrastructure that's the collective action failure for the private sector. That's it. The fact of the matter is our government is failing to do those three things over the last 4 years, certainly while Biden was in office, and really much of the post-Great Society federal government itself. And while it's failing to do the few things that it should do well, secure a border, actually provide for the national defense, actually protect private property rights, it instead finds all kinds of other things to do in the first place. So, Jason, this is a deeper conversation we got to have in our country about what is the proper role of the federal government. And we've created this entitlement state where really everybody, from the individuals, even to institutions, to corporations, to nonprofits, to universities,
DEI,
are suckling at the teat of the taxpayer. I think it's time to end that culture of dependence. Next year, we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. The real Declaration of Independence in the modern day is this. It is independence from the government rather than greater dependence on it. I was in Clyde, Ohio earlier today. I had a great conversation with great Ohioans there. I think people are hungry for that culture of independence, to go back to that founding culture in America. If we do that, our country's best days are ahead of us. Our national debt crisis can be behind us. And we actually have a government that allows individuals to flourish in their own private lives instead of trying to socially engineer the way we run our country. That's what I think we need to see from our government. Go back to skeletal, bare bones roots as our founders envisioned, and we're going to be in a much better place as a country if we do.
And see, that exact thing he said, that mindset is exactly what, I just got done doing the homeless video, and it aligns with them as well. We need people to be independent. We need to teach people to be independent. There's people out there that were independent, made mistakes, got themselves in the street. I mean, colleges that depend on the government. There's always a dependent on something or someone to basically live your life. We need to be teaching people in this country, you have the ability to live your life. There's problems. There's always problems every single day. Even if you have a million problems at once, you have to solve one problem at a time. Every single day you solve a problem, you should be feeling good about yourself. There's always going to be problems in life. So every time you solve a problem, take some extra time to congratulate yourself. Feel good about accomplishments. Treat yourself to things that you deserve because you're accomplishing those things to get out of the problems that you're in. I mean, this is what we need to be preaching to people that are in positions that feel like there's no other way, or they need to depend on a government program, or colleges depending on the government for their funding, when Viveks said it perfectly himself. Harvard can sustain themselves without the government help. Them trying to start a feud with the government, it's not going to go well for Harvard. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Till next time, peace out, everybody.